Ever heard of the slang Japada? Well, just like the Japa syndrome, that is used to represent the mass exodus of Nigerians from the country to other lands in search of greener pasture. There is also a trend where those who have traveled out are returning in their numbers to establish businesses back home. This is what Japada represents. Some of these returnees want to give back to society and have formed associations to do so. One of such associations is set to initiate a project tagged Next Idols, a venture that will train and produce a new generation of creatives. We are now being joined by KunmiAkinade. He is an enterprise mechanic, a trained economist specializing in finance with more than 30 years of experience working abroad in different sectors. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
One will wonder, when a lot of Nigerians are, leaving the country, one will wonder, why return home? What's the essence? After seeing both sides, talk to us.
Well, East or West, home is the best.
Right.
By virtue of our understanding, God has a reason why He has made us to be Nigerians.
Definitely.
So, if we really understand the depth of that, wherever we go, we know we are an ambassador and we have where we call a home. When a boat sails, it always returns to the shore, to birth. So wherever you may go, you're still connected to home. So having traveled several places, you actually want to return home, fulfill part of essence why you actually have those opportunities. So it's about give back.
Some people say that home is not where you are born or where you speak a language. Some people say, you said God knows why He made us Nigerian. God didn't make us Nigerian. The Igbo man made us Nigerian. In the first place.
So God knows why He gave us, brought us to Nigeria or this country. Let's not use the word Nigeria. That's what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Why God put us in the land where we have Nigeria. made us Yorubas in Nigeria, made us Shekiris in Nigeria, that kind of thing. But my own issue is why would you think anybody will want to return? Other than the sentiment.
Okay.
They knew that sentiment before they left.
Right.
Perhaps I will digress a little bit.
Okay.
How did we came about Japada? The Japa syndrome has been with us from eternity. We're only talking about it now. I can remember in 1984, Andrew checking out. It's the same syndrome. If we check most of the great achievements that many countries recorded were either borrowed, stolen, copied from other climes to adapt it to their environment.
That's what China is doing to American and Western technology.
So when you look at how America was created, the the Indians that owned the land until, the immigrants from England and perhaps some of the convicts who are convicted were actually sent to America. And those are the people that now turn the place around. That is almost their former roots depends on them. So that's why most of American presidents are of Irish descent. So coming back to Japa is a syndrome that has its positive side and negative sides. When you look at the turnaround of Japan after its occupation after the Pearl Harbor incident, started with just a mere transistor, a technology that was bought from Bell's in the US. They bought the technology for $20,000, which seems, and that was what changed the game for them. From there, they started advancing into every aspect of manufacturing through the electronics. So The Japa syndrome, we should see the positive side of it, whereas it also has the negative side. The positive side of it is people have opportunity to see how things are done in other climes, to replicate in their route, their country. The other side is the brain drain. That's a calamity. Yeah, it's like oil theft. They're the same. Because your talents are part of your endowments. And when they are actually migrating elsewhere, they are enriching that environment,
right,
while the challenges becomes bigger. For example, we never have enough doctors. Now they're all on exodus. So there are too many angles to it. So now the word Japada now came and associated with the ACT scheme. And what is the ACT scheme? It's Arena Plus Creative Talent Scheme. We have come to realize that having lost the opportunity to use our mineral endowment to turn our fortunes round, rather we have resource costs, arrested development, corruption, because, life became so easy. We now look at it. What else do we have to sell?
Human capital.
Our talents. Not just human capital, but talents, because you can actually export laborers who are not well paid. But when we look at most of the best performing or highly paid individuals all over the world, talent seems to be at the top range. Talent in all its ramifications. When we look at the creative, specifically the entertainment sports, check the top echelon. You see a lot of Africans doing very well. And perhaps dominate the industry. Meaning, we have something that is so unique to us that if we really focus on that, develop it, we are likely to turn our fortunes round. What's under the ground God gave us never did for us. Because talent is unique. It cannot be stolen.
Yeah.
And it's preserved by God.
Yeah, there's a place in the Bible that says a man's talent will make room for.
Yeah.
Make room
So
for
we realize that.
but that's when there is a room. There's a possession about.
Yeah. So we now realize that.
Well, we have racism. We have all kinds of strictures in all those societies. In fact, there's a new book out by what's her name? Rana. I've forgotten her name. This new book in which she's arguing that we have reached the end of globalization. Everybody is now going to their own tents. You can see in Europe where people like the leader of that country, Hungary,
Okay.
yes, doesn't want any immigrants. The new leader in Italy, the woman, they don't want any immigrant. The new Swedish leader doesn't want any immigrants. The problem, even this man in the U.S., Biden, is even helping in extending the wall in Ukraine. No, in the wall in Mexico.
Yeah.
They're extending this. So we have a world in which everybody is saying, okay, enough about being your brother's keeper. Everybody go and take care of yourself. To your tents, oh Israel.
Yeah.
So that's what we're having. So in this context, how can Japa really make traction in these days? How can?
Japa.
Not Japada.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say, that is it not an opportunity for Japada? Although some people, I'm beginning to see that another version of Japada is money that is coming back home.
Yeah. With the Japada, because we haven't stayed overseas for about 30 years, I've seen that we're all the same. Everywhere is the same. But,
Really?
I mean, every country has their challenges,
Very good.
strengths, so there's no place without their own challenges. For example, like the experience of the medical doctors, it's all in the news. They actually migrated to UK. They were complaining that they're being used like slaves. I said, what do you guys think you are? You're strangers. You are running away, you are escaping from where things are not done properly to where it's done. You'll be discriminated.
Moving from material poverty to
Exactly.
spiritual poverty.
Exactly. So you now see where we are now, and it's quite pathetic. Japa is an epidemic.
Now, is this the Japada program trying to make people see reasons why they should stay back and, you know, harness their talents? Or what in essence is this?
Yeah, Japada is ACT is a scheme.
Yeah.
And actually, Japada is a adjective that actually captures it. Just as Japa represents mass exodus, Japada is everything.
It's a retort.
Yeah. You can actually return back to your glory. And your glory may be here. For example,
it's a retort for
it's-
return.
Yeah. So if you look at it, like when we said creative talent, which this scheme is all about, if Fela were to have migrated to Japan, which audience will he be singing for?
They probably would do. There's one now, this girl who is in France now. What's her name?
Asha.
Asha is in France. And she's doing very well.
No, well,
She has her own,
you must-
her own cult following in France.
there must be a kind of association that you will have, the public that will understand you. Because when you see creative talents, you see a lot of people migrate to other countries because perhaps in their country the competition is high to represent another country in Olympics, in football, wherever you have it. Everybody cannot migrate to France.
Definitely.
Yeah, so, I mean, because we have isolated cases. But when you look at the creative talent industry, it's local, just like politics, just like culture, because it's moving around culture, habits, history, philosophy. I mean, the dream of that community. So we're not trying to create new sets of talents through this scheme and its various programs. It consists of two programs, Talent Search and Talent Hunt.
Okay. What's the difference?
Okay. Talent Search is a kind of effort to scan for every types of talent. Yeah, in diverse area without confinement. Music, dance, sports, cinematography. I mean, things that has audience.
And for Hunt?
And the Hunt is a specific, team defined. Is revolving around, I mean, it's about not trying to, I mean, it's about not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah. MJ Evolution, which is the Michael Jackson tribute show. Yeah, in America. I mean, there is a talent hunt that has delivered a program that has been watched by over 100 million people, including the Jacksons. That have seen, it's a tribute to Michael, all his records. They find repertoire artists that replicate him, and they're performing. Even the Jackson went to say, oh, like Jermaine said.
Are we having something similar here?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Actually, it's in partnership with MJ Evolution. So that's the talent hunt. We're specifically looking for, I mean, given type of talent that we already know. So we have the talent hunt, then the talent search. The talent search will be the general talent, diverse talents, artists, dancers, musicians, actors, things like that. But on the talent hunt, we have a specific program that we are trying to implement to produce those artists to join a larger program, because we're thinking of bringing the show to Nigeria. And one of the our interest in bringing the show to Nigeria was the content, was the local content, was the retained value. Let's create our own talent that can actually perform alongside your talent. That's what we're looking at.
You know, for people to come back to Nigeria, it's not easy, even those who want to Japada. There have been many cases where they say, oh, I've made enough money to come and set up business in Nigeria. I've seen so many. They will come back. There was one, there was one like that who set up a law firm, and bought all the gadgets for his law practice and all of that, and rented a place for 2 years. After 1 year, he packed his load.
Jackpot again.
And the jackpot again.
Oh, well. Actually, those are...
So it's not easy. You need to have some kind of support system when you come back to be able to really Japada. It is not easy because you are coming back to a nest of vipers. You know? And it's not easy for you to say you're coming back. That's why it seems that those people who have jackpot, when they see the reality there, they find it difficult to jackpot, even though they want to. Yeah. Because you need support system. You need to have a source of livelihood. You have to make sure a livelihood is sustainable, and it is not easy.
Yeah. I quite agree that returning takes a lot of courage and resolve. However, when you jackpot, before you get integrated, it takes years. It takes years. That perhaps somebody that has reached the peak of their career wanted to go and start all over there.
Some people go for different reasons. Some people go because of health.
Oh, yeah.
Some people go because, well, they are sacrificing their lives for their children. Some people go because of their spouse. Some people go for a number of reasons. Some people go because they have a calling, maybe religious or whatever. They have to explain it. They have themselves to explain it to. Some people are running away from crime. Some people, interestingly, are running away from spiritual hunting. You know, some people say, "Oh, that my mother's sister's brother's niece or uncle is the one after me." Because I remember when I was even in Kano, I met one or two friends who said they've lost touch with their relations down south because they came north because they are running from witchcraft and all of that. So people have different reasons for going. It's not just economy. Economy could be important, a factor, but there are other issues.
Yeah. Well, when we look at actually the word Japa as is being used, it's just about thoughtless migration.
Thoughtless?
Yeah. Because there are some professionals that they are actually more demanded outside than in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually they will get job offer.
Yes.
But how would you classify somebody that will risk the desert? Organ harvesters, drowning in the Mediterranean.
Those just to get out migrants.
Just to. So when
it's a sense of desperation, but it's also a marker of their desperate lives here in Africa. That the governments that were supposed to deliver for them have failed them. So they've said, okay, what life do I have here? What life? Let me just go. If I die, well, it's better for me to die trying than not trying at all.
That's the tragedy. You see, like, if we actually seek who to blame, there's always one person. I think we should be tired of blaming the government.
Really? Who should we blame then?
Because it won't change anything.
So who should we blame?
Let's start blaming ourselves. Why do we elect them?
Why do we let them?
Why do we elect such people? Because good people cannot lead bad people. You get the kind of government that you deserve.
The point though is that when we say things like that, we make it look like it is easy to make that decision, because the crowd is not an individual. The crowd is a mass. And it is difficult for an individual who hates a government to change the crowd, to say, I don't want to vote for them. Because the crowd is his own personality.
Right.
If I want to really address that, when we look at the policy of Nehru about resistance, peaceful, it initially sounded strange.
Who?
Jawaharlal Nehru, peaceful resistance.
That's Gandhi.
Gandhi.
Yeah.
Okay, Gandhi. Initially, it looks odd, but today it's like mainstream. So if there's a resolve, perhaps that's continuous, I think things can change.
Right.
Because if we assume we can't do anything, we're not born. I mean, it's not our destiny. Yeah.
So let's come back to the issue of the next idols that you are coming up with, and addressing this matter of Japa and all of it. You talked about acts, talent hunt, and talent search. Now, you have come up with something that replicates the MJ Michael Jackson evolution.
Yeah.
And that is what you want to bring to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Who are those that can be part of any of these, either the talent hunt or the talent search? When is it coming up? How can people be a part of it?
The talent hunt and the talent search actually will run simultaneously.
Right.
And if you look at the Jacksons, they started quite early, like age 8. So people from that age grade can join the program from age 8 upwards. And Michael died around when he was 51. Because, I mean, there will be acts that somebody that will be close to that will have to replicate. So it's open to any Nigerian from age 8
to 51.
Yeah, and above.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whereas the talent search, there's no limit. There are some talents that they will reach their peak, the twilight of their career, when they have actually crossed 70, like
so
Fatai Rolling Dollars.
Yeah. So for those who want to, how do they get to apply or put in for this? Is there a website, a web link, or what?
Yeah.
So that you mention it for people to go there and put in.
Yeah, actually, we're going to launch the program officially.
When?
Before, around mid-November.
All right.
Yeah. We're doing that.
So is there a page they can follow for updates quickly, because we're running out of time?
www.nextidol.com.
Okay. Yeah. www.nextidol.com. Well, we have to leave it here now. We have to go now.
Okay.
Yes.
Or 012391992.
Okay.
Yeah. That's...
KunmiAkinade, an enterprise mechanic, a trained economist specialized in finance. Thank you for your time on the program. This is where we have to leave it for today. Thank you.